Okay, hi students. Checking microphone quickly. Okay, looks okay. So, hello students in advanced class in advanced Swedish conversation and composition. This video will be kind of an explanation for your next week assignment. I will also do a little bit of written instruction, but I think it's kind of quick and easy if I tell you in this YouTube video. Alright, let me explain. First of all, I have divided you in 3 groups, and let me just repeat the members of each group, the student members of each group. So the first group is composed of 1, 2, 3, 4 students. It's going to be So Jonghui, Na Jie-hwan, An Tae-hyun, and Li Changmin. I'm sorry if my pronunciation is so-so, but you probably recognize me. So that's the first group. And in this group, I'm going to select one of you to be the group leader. And I will explain why later. So gruppledaren, the group leader in this group, is going to be this time An Tae-hyun. An Tae-hyun, you are the group leader of this group. And I will explain your special responsibility later. In the next group, there will be the following members: Chun Ye-young, Kim Yo-min, and then, wait a second. Sorry. Kim An-chong and Park Ji-ho. Okay? So in this group of 1, 2, 3, 4 students, the group leader will be you, Park Ji-ho. Park Ji-ho, you are the group leader of this group. And the third group will be the following students: Lee So-hee, Lee Sol, Park Sung-hwan, and Lee Bo-yeon, and Hyung Sung-hyun. And in this group, the group leader this time will be Lee Sol. Lee Sol, you will be the group leader of this group. The first group is especially focused and responsible for chapter 5. Chapter 5 in the book, which is called Dödsbudet. Dödsbudet, chapter 5. So you will have to look more carefully into that chapter. The number 2 group will look specifically at chapter 9. And I believe chapter 9, have a look here. Chapter 9, the name of the chapter is Lekkamraterna. Lekkamraterna, the playmates or the play friends. And the third group, you will be specifically in charge of chapter 10. Chapter 10, and the name of that chapter is I polishuset. I polishuset, in the police headquarters or in the police building, police office. All right? So now you know the group members of each group. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. I've told you the group leaders, and it's going to be, again, if I remember right, for the first group it's going to be you, An Tae-hyun. In the second group it's going to be you, Park Ji-ho, and in the third group it's going to be you, Lee Sol. All right? Now, the assignment is sort of divided in two parts. One is a written part, and the written part you will do individually with a deadline next week on the day of our lesson. So it's going to be Tuesday next week. And the written assignment will be, I've decided, as a minimum of half a page. So half a page of written Swedish. And that's the minimum. And the maximum is 1 page. So anywhere between half a page and 1 page. And written and sent in to me by e-class or Google Drive on that day. And you have to send it in by either a Word document or a PDF document. And the details of this written thing I can explain to you in writing on e-class. So this should be done one by one, student by student. So even though you belong to a group, you don't need to discuss with the others. You just read that chapter carefully, listen to the audio file, and try to think about it, and then you try to write something in Swedish about that chapter individually. And then when we meet next week on Zoom, in the beginning of the Zoom session, I will try to subdivide you into the groups. Zoom allows the teacher, the administrator, to subdivide you into groups. And for the first 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to let you discuss in your group, Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3, what you found about the chapter 5 or the chapter 9 or the chapter 10. And based on that discussion, the group leader should be prepared to report back to me in Swedish the basic pieces of that group discussion. So it's going to be a special responsibility for you, An Tae-hyun, a special responsibility for you, Park Ji-ho, and a special responsibility for you, Lee Sol, in the Zoom session next week, to speak to me and report your conclusions in spoken Swedish, based on your own reading and the small discussion in your group. What's going on in this chapter? Vad händer i det här kapitlet? Okay? This is an experiment, so I don't know how smoothly this will work, but I want to give it a try. Jag vill prova. Jag vill försöka. Okay? And let's start with the written part. So you have half a page to write something in Swedish, and you are allowed to use all the tools you want. Google Translate, your own knowledge of Swedish, and so on. just try to summarize what happens in chapter 5. Summarize what happens in chapter 9. Summarize the key points of chapter 10. You know, group by group by group. I want you to focus on the key persons. I've told you before, vem. Vem eller vilka personer är de viktigaste personerna i det kapitel? I kapitel 5, i kapitel 9, i kapitel 10. Vilken är den viktigaste händelsen? Which is the most important event in that chapter? Maybe there is more than one important event. So keep an open mind to that. Maybe there is a main event, den viktigaste händelsen, och sen en annan händelse, a second event, which is also kind of important. So maybe you can report both of those. And then briefly you could say, where does this take place? Where's the location? Var händer det? Var i Stockholm händer det här? And in this very brief written summary, I want you to spend the last 2 or 3 sentences to explain how this chapter make you feel. Vilka känslor får du? Which feelings do you get? Är du glad? Är du ledsen? Är du förvånad? Meaning, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you surprised? Är du förvirrad? Förvirrad means to be confused. Är du chockad? Are you in shock? So in your written report, the one that individually each student has to write and send in to me, at the very end of your report, write 1 or 2 lines or a couple of sentences about what's the feeling, the atmosphere and the feeling that you get from this chapter. Okay? So to repeat, who are the key persons of the chapter? What is the key event happening in this chapter? And what's the location? Where does it take place? Var? And finally, vilken känsla får du? What kind of feeling do you get after reading this chapter? And perhaps if you can explain why. Varför? Varför känner du så? Why do you feel this way after finishing these chapter pages? I know it's a little bit difficult, but try. Let's try, okay? Each of you try and use all the tools on the internet that you can find and put it into half a page or a little bit more in written Swedish. Okay? I have chosen these chapters 5 and 9 and 10 because they are a little bit longer, about 4 or 5 pages each, and a little bit more complicated than the other chapters. Okay? And I want you to deliver these texts one by one, student by student, to me in a Word, text file, or in a PDF file uploaded to eClass or Google Drive. Okay? And then on Tuesday, when we meet in the Zoom meeting, in the beginning, I will just say hello. I will divide you into groups. And then in each group, you will share, okay, this is what I found about chapter 5. Or in another group, this is what I felt about chapter 9. And in another group, this is my conclusion or my thoughts about chapter 10. And after that, in the Zoom meeting, the group leader of each group, and I repeat, An Tae-hyun in the first group, and Pak Ji-ho in the second group, and Lee Sol in the third group. You will speak to me in Zoom and try briefly to report back in Swedish, using Swedish. Vi ska prata svenska. Okay? This is an experiment. We don't know how it will go, but I have to push you in this direction and see what happens. Jag vill säga en sak till. Den här boken, i texten, all text är skriven i dåtid. Do you remember what that means? All the text is written in the past tense. Någonting hände, sedan hände något, någon sade något, etc. Okay, so that's the way the book is written. But when we talk about the book, when we talk about chapter 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, när vi pratar om boken så använder vi oftast presens. Vi använder nutid. Så jag frågar er, vad händer i kapitel 5? Händer, that is present tense. I don't ask, vad hände? Vad hände i kapitel 5? I cannot explain why. It's just like this when you talk about a book or about a play or something. Vad händer? We use the present tense. So keep that in mind for the written presentation that you do or for the oral spoken presentation that you do. You can use, or you should use, the present tense. I kapitel 5, for example, vad händer? Ja, Lennart Kollberg, han åkte till brottsplatsen. Han pratar present tense med läkaren, etc. So you can use the present tense when reporting what is happening in each chapter. All right, I think this is enough for the YouTube video. I think you have a clear idea about the task. And in eClass, I will write a short written instruction, what you're supposed to do, as a supplement to this video. I think that's about it. And look, those 3 persons of you, the 3 students who are now the group leaders, you will not be the group leaders forever. I will switch this around, so don't worry. Other students will have this responsibility later. Ja, jag hoppas att ni har förstått. Jag har använt väldigt mycket engelska just nu, men det är första gången och jag vill bara vara helt säker på att ni förstår min idé och mina instruktioner. Så lycka till med hemläxan. Good luck with this assignment. Och vi ses nästa vecka på tisdag när vi har vårt nästa Zoom-möte. Okej? Tack så mycket och hej då. Vi ses.